Hello wolves. When you search romance into Google, one of the first definitions is a feeling of excitement and mystery associated with love, which is definitely not what I feel while watching a majority of the MCU romances. Well, maybe I feel a bit of mystery, like it's mysterious where all of the romantic chemistry is gone, but that's about it. Out of the romances we got, a lot of them were a swing and a miss, which is such a shame considering the rich comic book history between these couples. Marvel seems to go from one extreme of the spectrum to the other, with romances working really well or failing spectacularly. Mostly the latter. So today I thought we could take a look at these attempts at romances in the MCU and see where they went wrong. To understand where they went wrong, we have to start with some of the better couples from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First up, Pepper and Tony. Definitely the most successful romance in the MCU. Regardless of your feelings towards these two characters or their actors, you can't deny that they have the most established relationship. You see the love between them grow and build up through the various movies and you watch it expand. I'm obviously not going to sit here and say that this romance is perfect, it's far from it. We'll learn in Iron Man that the pair have a history. They've worked together for a number of years and we've shown that they were comfortable with one another. And that Tony, the party boy playboy, trusted Pepper and in a room full of people only saw her. We get build up throughout the years which eventually culminated in a beautiful relationship which led to marriage and a child, Morgan. They fight, they argue, they bicker, and then the next minute they're making up in the shower. They act like a genuine couple that has their ups and downs. They have a realistic quality to them. Some people like to argue that Pepper is just a one-dimensional love interest, much like some of the others, but I disagree. Pepper isn't perhaps a Peggy Carter, but she's still a valuable character outside of being in a relationship with Tony. She's an intelligent businesswoman who would still be that if she and Tony never got together. Tony does not define her as a character. So Pepper and Tony are top of the food chain. The other MCU ships quake in their presence. Jesus. They've never quite replicated that same depth in the romance that they had with Tony and Pepper. At least not yet. Of course there have been other really good MCU romances, well maybe just one more really, but in my opinion Tony and Pepper are at the top of the list. Okay, let's take a look at Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter. They worked really well for what they were and should have remained a wartime romance. The main standout for this couple isn't necessarily the romance, but the character themselves. Both Steve and Peggy are fully realised characters that can stand on their own 2 feet. I bet you're thinking, well, most MCU characters are pretty good by themselves. And you would be right. But this video is about the romance. So Peggy and Steve work really well by themselves and in a romantic couple, while for example Natasha and Bruce work really well by themselves but not so much in a romantic couple. Do you see what I mean? No? Well, shit. As a wartime romance, Peggy and Steve work. You don't know whether you're going to survive till the end of the war. In fact, many people didn't even know if there would be an end of the war. So it's no surprise that people would begin these relationships for various reasons, mainly companionship and comfort. That's why to me at least the couple work. Peggy and Steve didn't know if they would live to see the next day, and that intense and quick burst of love is really well done in the first Avenger. They hope of a future together, which makes it even more upsetting when Steve dies, because that hope is gone. Before I get to some of the worst MCU couples, I just want to kind of mention this one quickly because I'm enjoying watching them grow, and that's Peter and MJ. What I love about this pair is how tentative it is. It's a new and young love. They're teenagers, it's all about the baby steps. They definitely hit the nail on the head with these two. They're awkward and shy around each other, which perfectly reflects the stages of a new and first relationship, at least with these two. And much like with others like T'Challa and Nakia or Hope and Scott or Wanda and Vision, etc., I'm looking forward to these couples being established and fleshed out over their up and coming movies or shows. And we've made it. The worst couples from the MCU, in my humble opinion. And these couples are Steve and Sharon and Natasha and Bruce. I'm really sorry if I've offended any one of those two picks. The things that these two have in common is the lack of chemistry. Steve and Sharon do not work in the MCU. Sharon was shoehorned in to quickly give Steve a love interest he didn't need. And Bruce and Natasha happened without any build-up, they just appeared out of thin air. These two relationships should and could have worked if they were given a little bit of care. For the benefit of the doubt, I like the whole monster to monster thing with Bruce and Nat, which is about how Nat feels like a monster because of what she's done and, well, Bruce is the Hulk. I like that comparison, they just did nothing with it. Imagine over the course of every film Nat is in, we see Bruce slowly breaking down her walls, the trust being built between the two, and then the love. Wouldn't that have been more satisfying than what we had? I understand you have very limited time to develop relationships in these movies, but you can add to these relationships in other movies, like Nat talking about Bruce or Steve mentioning a coffee date with Sharon off screen, just to give them some depth, a bit of backstory. Just give us something. Steve and Sharon are a shambles, and I'm glad Sharon is getting her chance to shine in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She will actually get to be a character and not just a love interest. I've done a whole separate video on Sharon and how she was mistreated in the MCU, so if you want to watch that, click the link down below. I'm sure it'll be in the description. Hopefully, if future Sally remembers. When the MCU get a romance right, they really get it right, but sometimes they can slip through their fingers. The main thing that the MCU need to do going forward is flesh out your characters and your relationships. If you want two characters to be in a romantic relationship, that is fine, but please flesh it out, make it established and build it up. You can't just go all in like you did with Bruce and Natasha. You need to build up things. Make sure the romance makes sense as well. I think Bruce and Natasha would really have worked well if it was built up, but just starting off like that, it kind of seemed like it was out of nowhere and it made no sense, to me anyway. And I'm hoping they learn from their mistakes, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Now that we have these Disney Plus shows, it means that they can establish and build up and flesh out characters a lot more, and I'm really thankful that we have 6 hours to get to know Wanda again, get to know Bucky, Sam, Loki, Hawkeye, everyone again, to build up the character, and I'm glad that they're doing that. Anyway, I don't know why I wanted to do a video on the romances. I think I was rewatching Age of Ultron the other day and I just kind of sat there like, what is happening? Like, I've seen this so many times, but still, the 50th time I've watched this movie, I'm still like, what? Why? Why would you do that? I would have taken Steve and Natasha over that, but whatever. Anyway, I think I might make a video on Thor and Jane, because I'm interested to see how they develop that dynamic going through. They were boyfriend and girlfriend or lovers or whatever, and now they're exes, and the added like concept of her becoming Lady Thor and stuff. I might do a whole video on that. If you want that, let me know down below. Any video suggestions, like I said, down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to me. And I do videos like this every single week, so why don't you subscribe to my channel and click that bell if you want to be notified. I have Tumblr, Twitter and Instagram. They're down below in the description and at the end of this video. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you think that there should have been more couples in the great bit of this video or the bad bit of this video or whatever, please let me know down below. Let me know your opinions and we'll have a chat. And I hope you guys are staying safe and washing your hands and all that jazz. And I'll see you next time. Bye, little wolves.